Hello there and welcome to this video on how I was able to create a data analysis library in Python. This is the Turbo Impute library that allows us to be able to handle missing values with ease. Traditionally, we would use pandas and it would provide us with just some standard techniques. But when it comes to handling some advanced techniques, such as being able to impute using machine learning techniques, then you have to write a lot of code. And I thought, why not create a library that allows you to be able to implement maybe that technique, that advanced technique, such as using maybe KNN algorithm to just impute values with just one particular function. And this is a video that takes you on how I implemented this, those techniques and packaged it into a library. So let's get started. So this is the Turbo Impute library, and we can be able to import it just like any other library, install it, then import it, then use it for analysis. So starting off with any library, we would need to create a directory. So on the far right, you can see the structure of the Turbo Impute library, where we have tests and Turbo Impute as the directories inside the main or the root directory. That's Turbo Impute. So starting off, we create the main or the root Turbo Impute library, and we go into it, and inside it we create now the subdirectories. That's the Turbo Impute as well as the tests directory. Then is inside the root directory, we create now the license as well as the readme and setup.py files, which will be crucial for documentation, for license information, as well as for just some configuration information. So these three files, we'll just create them inside the root directory. That's Turbo Impute. They won't be inside the subdirectories test and Turbo Impute. So that's what we do here. We create those libraries using the touch command. And then we go inside now the subdirectory Turbo Impute, and we now create the submodules on just the modules, the files that will contain the actual files, the actual functionalities of our library. Like our library, we would want it to be able to perform detection of missing values, imputation, removal, as well as visualization of missing values. So that's what we do. We create just 4 different files, and also we create the init.py file to be able to just and be able to run some also in configuration information for this particular for that particular directory. And then we decide to go into tests and also create now the files that we're going to use for just testing the each and every of those modules that we have. Once we do that, we just now open our directory inside a text editor. Here I'm using Sublime Text. You can use any text editor, and we start writing our code for detection. We want to be able to identify missing values, as well as get a summary of our missing values. So these are 2 just functions that we want available in this package. Just note at the very top, I had made a mistake of importing pandas as pandas, but I fix it later. Once that is done, we then move on to the next module. That's the imputation file. Inside the imputation file, we now write code that will allow us to be able to impute data. So we write a function for impute mean and functionality, impute median. We also write for impute. We also use, by the way, we also do write later onwards for mode. We also write for KNN as well, which is the machine learning algorithm, and also we write for DT. DT is just imputed DT decision trees, and also GBM gradient boosting machines. These are just advanced techniques. By default, if we want to just impute with a machine learning, any machine learning algorithm, or by default, if it's KNN, we just also implement impute ML for that. Once we do that, we also do the same thing for removing missing values. So dropping rows, we do the same thing. We also write code for data visualization. Just note that this package is still in development. However, we are still able to perform the core techniques that we would want, which of course is imputation. Once we have done that, we then write just some configuration information of how we want to export or work with the functions that we've defined for Turbo Impute. Once we do that, we now write the tests. So we start by writing the detection module tests. This will just allow us to just check whether the functionality that's for the functions in the detection module work as expected. We also write tests for imputation and also for removal of values. And lastly, we also do write tests for visualization. Yeah, so once we are done, we just also include some license, which is just MIT licenses, freely available. It just allows any person to just obtain this particular package and use it in whatever case that they would want. We write the documentation for that in the README file, as well as set up some configuration information about the package inside the setup.py file. All right, so once we do that, to run our code that we've written, we need the following packages: pandas, sklearn, as well as matplotlib. So yeah, so we import those necessary packages, and once we have done that, we also install the we also build the package itself. So building the package just involves actually initially here we are just simply testing, running the tests that we have created, and later onwards we build the package. So we used sdist as well as bdist wheel to be able to build the package, so for us to be able to publish it on the PyPy website, which contains our libraries. So once we have done that, and something to note is that I might have not shown you how to export it to GitHub, which of course you need to do that, but it's a straightforward process, just 1 or 2 steps. But once we do that, to be able to publish it on the pypy.org website, this is the website, we need to create an account here, and also get an API key, our token, which we do retrieve from the account settings page. We create the token and then copy the token that we will get. I haven't shown you here how I do that, but yeah, and once we paste it in our terminal, it should be published, and we should see it published, and we can be able to import that package in any environment and now work with that package by, aside from importing, installing, then working with the different functions. Yeah, so this is just that package in action. So that's it with regards to how I implemented or how I created this library. I hope you can also be able to do lots on your side, maybe think of an idea and be able to implement that. All the best in your journey. Bye-bye.